two great guests in studio
Good
as
morning.
we talk about the Port of Shelton here with Dick Taylor and Wendy Smith. Morning, y'all.
Good
Morning.
How you doing?
Good.
We are.
Good. What's been going on Port properties?
Quiet things.
Quiet things. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're doing we put out an RFQ for the airport runway overlay
Yeah.
for next year.
Yep.
So that'll be going along, and that's a huge project. Million. What is it?
Almost 4.
4 million.
$4 million.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Gonna
The overlay,
redo
redo the paving on the runway, so it's an overlay. So a couple years ago, we did a slurry seal just to kind of extend the life.
tied it over.
Yeah.
This is the actual, dig down, get some of that.
And that's 90% funded by the FAA.
Good.
Nice.
And
then-
5% by the State Department of Transportation Aviation Division,
Yep.
and we pay 5%. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it's a good deal for us.
It's
Yeah,
a good deal.
that is a
and
good
that's
deal for you guys.
discretionary funding. That's different than our normal every year funding. We get every year funding from the.
Yeah, it's on top of the
FAA,
FAA
yeah.
normal funding.
So we've been in this queue for years to get this funding, and so Brandon put out an RFQ for engineering on the project, and 3 firms turned in they're not proposals, they're qualification statements last Friday, and so now the next phase, you kind of have to follow the FAA's guidance,
Yeah,
so
their
now
path.
the next phase says that we will take the top 3 proposals, and so. We'll take them all.
There you go.
There we go.
So but good firms. I don't think we can go wrong. All really good.
And when's
firms,
that going to
so
happen?
Next year.
The project will be next year.
Nice.
Yeah,
That'll be nice.
2020.
So here's a question for
2019.
you. We have been talking a lot about how Sanderson Field will be key when there is a big earthquake. And we've been doing the Cascadia drills and things like that.
Right.
When you, when that was become known, does that help you in securing funding perhaps faster than other airport areas that wouldn't be a staging platform for a response?
Not through FAA. That doesn't change anything through FAA
okay.
because FAA is basically their main concern is to protect airports that are funded through them to protect the population surrounding them, the general aviation pilots, that kind of thing. But that could very well open up other funding like Homeland Security, FEMA,
Right.
something like that. So, and interesting, you should mention that we just received an email from DOT Aviation, and they're looking to do kind of site tours, planning with airports that kind of fall into that, emergency category now that Cascadia Rising is done, and then they did all the probably data and numbers. They're looking to so we're going to circle back around and have them probably come out and check us out. Pretty recently, a couple weeks back, probably a month ago, I was out of town, but Brandon and Al met with FEMA Region 10 and Washington State Military, Washington State Emergency, I think maybe it's all one and the same, but and talking about that very thing and getting some kind of a memorandum of understanding for the very nature of if an emergency event happens. So we're kind of working on that in the background. It is they consider Sanderson Field to be one of the remaining airports on the west if something major were to occur, that we might be the only.
We'd be the staging area for the recovery of Capellas, the beach areas, coastal areas. So,
and this was all
And that's
after
what we
some
were-
work was done where we found it was just a big rock. I mean, basically.
yeah,
just
we're
kinda
not
sitting on a rock.
on fill, and lots
Yep.
and lots of
Yep.
places are built on fill.
Yeah.
So
Very interesting.
So that's good. So it could open up doors to other funding for need of what it would take to get our airport. Maybe that means beefing up the airport so bigger planes can land.
Yes.
That with the weights and that kind of thing.
and we
Military.
are looking at extending the runway,
Yeah.
which will help in bringing bigger aircraft in.
Sure.
Nice.
I don't know when that's going to happen though.
Well,
That's what
and
we got.
FAA won't fund that unless you have documented certain number of takeoffs and landings, which we don't have a tower, so to
Yeah.
document that was pretty
Little
tough.
tough,
We'd
yeah.
have to
Yeah.
sit out there
Right.
day in and day out, and actually, so that's where some of those other funding sources, I think, eventually will play a part in some of
Okay.
that stuff. So
Okay.
yeah.
What about down at the marina? How are things looking down there?
Things are good. We finished our emergency project, as you know. So, yeah, hold your fingers crossed, I guess. But so far, we haven't had a whole lot of another
No big
wind
storms,
storms.
yeah.
And, now as we move into, some more spring and summer weather, we should, fare pretty well. As usual, the port is teaming up with the yacht club. They typically do a cleanup day, and we just bring some staff down on a Saturday morning and bring the fire department to do the annual boathouse inspection. So that'll happen coming up March 24th. And so that gives, everybody a chance to get their inspection done on one day when they might be there anyway.
Oh, nice.
So we just kind of tag on to the day that, we kind of set it together. But so that's coming on. In terms of the marina, we talked about this a little bit last week, but we're going to be doing some community meetings to get kind of an opinion of where we go from here. As you know, we've got that failing dock on the south side that, part of it was wind, part of it is just, that it's just age. Yeah. So we just have to figure out how to fund it, what that looks like. Are there other options out there? So we're going to do some advertising on that, and you'll get my notices. But we're looking at a couple meetings to involve
Three,
the,
as a matter of fact,
yep,
yeah.
3 to be exact. But a couple of them are going to be, times when maybe people can't make our regular meetings. So they'll be on a Saturday
good.
morning and on a Thursday or Wednesday evening, I think.
Wednesday evening, I think.
And then one at our regular meeting. So we're looking for any and all input. This affects the Port of Shelton taxpayers, but it's a community issue as well. So anyone is welcome. We hope we get some good turnout and
Get some good input.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's coming.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I've been up at the PUD the last couple days checking out some other stuff, but I then of course look right across the street and things look beautiful there. Johns Prairie, a lot of work being done. The grounds look very nice. And how are things progressing there?
Things are great. We finished our septic project out there for on the site closest to Johns Prairie Road through the curb funding. We also have the building project we are now permitted for, so that's going to go out to bid. We'll have to advertise for that and go out to bid in probably the next month. So that'll kind of finish that up. We've had some looks at that site, still available. So if anybody's interested, very nice site because it's fully paved. Got that 24,500 square foot building that will soon have walls. So yeah, it's a good, plus we purchased the office trailers that were there. So those are now plumbed into the septic.
Oh, wow.
So
So
there's
it's a
a
whole-
lot
Yeah, there
of,
you go.
It's ready to
a
go.
lot of great stuff out there. Have some lookers on the property that was McFarland Cascade. There's a small building that McFarland actually built when they were out there, and we have some interest in that as well currently. So we'll see. That might be an upcoming lease that we'll
Nice.
sign. So yeah, things are just ticking right along. And then we have another interest in some land out there possibility. So I think, things aren't slowing down. They're not stopping. I think people are, geared up and good stuff going on.
Good.
So
awesome.
Good to
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, Dick Taylor and Wendy Smith here weekly talking about the good things happening at the Port of Shelton and the different properties. We'll make sure we announce those upcoming meetings for folks who may
Yes.
not be able to attend your regularly scheduled meetings. Well, good to see y'all.
You too.
Good to be here.
Have a great rest
Yeah.
of your day.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.